Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. This week we have a very short but very important episode for anyone who's interested in attaining enlightenment. Go. Hey, welcome to the I Am Podcast, where we answer all the questions about spirituality and inner peace that you ever wanted to ask. I'm your host, Sean Webb. Okay, so this week I was having an email conversation with one of the friends of the podcast and one of the supporters, Shaf, who is from the Sufi tradition, and he's been seeking for a while. We've been talking about some of the advanced teachings. And one of the things that came up today was the point that I wanted to bring up to him, that just to make sure that what he was putting into his body was favorable to helping the enlightenment experience occur. Because the enlightenment experience, we know from scientific experiment and from tying a bunch of things together, we know that the enlightenment experience comes from a chemical that is created within our head that is released during our waking hours. Now, the chemical that's released within our head comes from this gland called the pineal gland. And this has been proven by Dr. Rick Strassman through his studies at the University of New Mexico. And also he found this chemical in the pineal gland of live rats. And the chemical is called dimethyltryptamine. It is the most powerful psychedelic on the planet. When dimethyltryptamine flushes into your system during waking hours, all of your senses shut down. You can't see, touch, taste, anything. And you're launched into the center of the universe, and you get to interact directly with this seemingly universal intelligence, this seemingly universal wisdom that you don't have access to normally in your waking hours. This is the experience that we can assume that the Buddha had, that Jesus had, that Muhammad had when he received the Quran. Krishna, Baha'u'llah, the Dalai Lama, Gandhi, a number of luminaries have had this experience, as well as thousands of people who are living and walking on this planet today, including yours truly. Now, what happened to me? I came back with more wisdom and knowledge than I left with, which leads me to the conclusion that that's pretty solid evidence that I'm tapping into something, either a wisdom intelligence that exists within my head that I didn't know about somewhere, or a wisdom intelligence that may be non-local, as proven by microtubules being affected by quantum action and microtubules making up the lattice work of our neurons. Anyway, the chemical that creates that waking, conscious enlightenment experience is dimethyltryptamine. Endogenous dimethyltryptamine, when it releases from the pineal gland in your head, it floods a lot of your neurons and creates this awakening experience. Explaining it scientifically doesn't take anything away from its divinity or its mystical characteristics, because you tap into something that is well beyond what you normally can perceive. So when this chemical releases, boom, awakening. We've discussed many ways to get that chemical to release in your head, including really deep forms of meditation or other meditative disciplines. But one of the things that's important for you to know, and the reason for this podcast today, is that you need to understand the science of the pineal gland and how it can be calcified. Because a calcified pineal gland does not create the chemicals that it needs to create to allow you to awaken, and or the pineal gland also creates melatonin, which regulates your sleep, serotonin, which melatonin is a derivative of, which keeps you out of depression and keeps you in a positive emotional framework for your entire life. The calcification of your pineal gland is a horrible situation to be in. Now I'm going to read right off of Wikipedia what we know about calcification of the pineal gland. The pineal gland is often seen in skull x-rays when it is calcified. Calcification of the pineal gland is typical in adults and has been observed in children as young as 2. Calcification rates vary widely by country and tend to increase by age, with calcification occurring in an estimated 40% of Americans by their 17th year. So 4 out of 10 Americans, by the time they're aged 17, has calcified their pineal gland. We'll talk about why in a minute. Some recent studies show that the degree of pineal gland calcification is significantly higher in patients with Alzheimer's disease versus other types of dementia. Pineal gland calcification may also contribute to the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease and may reflect an absence of crystallization inhibitors. And all this stuff is referenced by science, by the way. So, calcification of pineal gland may not be causational of Alzheimer's, but it's certainly associated with Alzheimer's. So, maybe the chemicals that are causing the calcification of pineal gland are also causing Alzheimer's. Or maybe the pineal gland calcification is causing Alzheimer's. We don't know, but they're linked. Okay? Last line, calcium, phosphorus, and fluoride deposits in the pineal gland have been correlated with aging, showing that as the brain ages, more deposits collect. Now, that line is telling all. Calcium, phosphorus, and fluoride. In my local municipality, fluoride, which isn't actually fluoride, it's kind of a waste product that they call fluoride because it's associated with fluoride. Fluoride is added to the water in my local municipality. Now, the scientific argument was back in the 50s and 60s when they were trying to add this into the water systems was that everybody needed it for their teeth. And even the American Dental Association says, no. Only kids 7 through 12 need fluoride for their teeth. And by the way, it's marginal at best. And so we shouldn't really have it in our water supply. Yet everyone has it. A lot of the municipalities have it in their local water supply as part of their public water system. They add fluoride to the water. What is fluoride doing? It's calcifying the pineal gland. So if you're on public water and they're adding fluoride, stop drinking it. Stop drinking it for two reasons. One, because calcification of the pineal gland is linked directly to Alzheimer's. Whether or not it's correlational or causational, we don't know. But the second thing is when you have a calcified pineal gland, it's not generating the melatonin, the serotonin, and the dimethyltryptamine that you need for awakening. Now, it could be theorized and has been theorized that a government that puts a strong military at a high priority would certainly love to put chemicals in the water that help stop people from awakening, because anybody who's enlightened isn't going to join the army and be willing to pull a trigger on one of their brothers. I'm certainly not. I'm ex-military. I have video of myself doing that lethal weapon thing that Mel Gibson did, where he shot the face in the target from way far away. I can do that. I did that on video, and I have it somewhere in the annals of my computer hard drives. Post-Enlightenment, it's tough for me to kill an ant. And I'll only kill fire ants because I have a 4-year-old out there and I don't want him in the yard because they could do some damage to him if he finds himself in a pile of fire ants. So you'll definitely not find me pulling a trigger on somebody, ever. And so if people awaken, they're not going to have a strong military. So of course you have to have chemicals in the water that stop people from being awakened. So stop drinking the fluoride. And if your local municipality has fluoride in the water, go get bottled water. That's what Whitney and I do. And because we have a 4-year-old, and fluoride is a neurotoxin, proven neurotoxin. I'm not putting a neurotoxin in my kid's head through the water system. So we drink nothing but bottled water. And if you're looking for enlightenment, whether you have kids or not, stop drinking fluoridated water and start getting bottled water or rainwater or whatever you want to use instead. And double check that your fruit juices and things like that aren't high in fluoride, because fluoride's a neurotoxin. It's going to kill your brain slowly and it's going to calcify your pineal gland, and that is not good. So if you're looking for enlightenment, dump the fluoride. Get it out of your system. Your pineal gland can regenerate. It has been shown in tests or in experiments. So get off of that stuff. See if you can't get some detox agents into your system to help your body regenerate and clean that stuff out of your brain, because it's doing nothing but killing your brain cells and your pineal gland, which is of utmost importance for awakening. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great week. If you want to contribute to the podcast, come by imspirituality.com. You can buy me lunch with a beer, sponsor a whole podcast episode. That would be awesome. It helps to defray the costs of some of this stuff. And then, of course, you can also go to Audible with our special link, audibletrial.com/imspirituality. Get a free book. Sign up for the 30-day free trial. You'll love them to death. I've been a member since 2006. Love them to death. You will too. The author reads their own book in your ears, which is awesome, because ears are awesome. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.